It seemed like you did skate well in the first period. I don't know if you would consider it a good period. You got 2 goals. I thought you skated well. What was the biggest difference between that and then what happened to you in the second?
Well, I agree that we skated well in the first. We still complicated some simple things. We didn't put enough pucks to the net. We overpassed. We wanted a perfect, a prettier play. And those are, we never found a rhythm, even though we had some good energy in the first, and then we died. The game looked to me like it was pretty simple. A team that's already playing their third game coming back, and a team that just had 10 days and didn't play. And they were, we were one step off, and I think it started cognitively, and then it manifests physically. Just one step off, after I would say 10, 15 minutes. But even through the first period, we're up 2-0. And we played okay at that point, but we still were doing things that showed we're not sharp. So there was some concern, that boy, we got to find another gear here. We got to find a way to be a little more simple and direct, and that didn't go away, unfortunately.
You talked to them at one point, one of the TV timeouts in the second period, but how much after one of the goals you just think about calling the timeout and just stopping it all?
Yeah, you do, no question. You have one timeout, and it could have called 3 timeouts there. I mean, our guys were in their own head. When you don't feel right and you don't feel yourself, you can get into your head pretty quick, and that will complicate things even more. And we watched that happen. Again, one team comes in a rhythm. I could say we skated well in the first period, but we were never in a rhythm, because again, we were not putting pucks in the net that could have been in the net. Very simple, and it was coming back quicker. You could see, tactically we weren't playing as a unit. So again, you could call a timeout. You could use the TV timeouts. You're not sure, but you think about it, no question. Not sure that would have been a cure, but you definitely runs through your head.
Do you have philosophy on timeouts? Like thinking, all right, this is a good time, or maybe I'll let the players figure this out?
I think it's a read in the moment. I mean, if I thought a timeout was going to solve something, I would have called a timeout. And you can say, yeah, you can use your timeout there. Is it going to solve something? And you have the TV timeouts to talk, and you're talking to guys on the bench, and you have to fight through these types of situations too. Yeah, all that goes through your head, and absolutely you could have called it. You don't win a game and things don't change. You could say, well, you might as well have called it. So that's easy to say after, and it's just part of the business, I guess.
You talk about the physical manifestations of the way the game went. For one of the few times this year, maybe, did you sense just a kind of a loss of poise or a little bit of panic there in that second period?
I don't think you can say panic and poise. Again, you can go and look at, say this is a problem. That's a problem. We played a team that had great jump and had third game, and they had a jump on us, and we just had 9 days away, and it's challenging. That's a tough thing, and it looked like that. So you can be overcritical on this and that and the other, but there was an imbalance there, and we could not offset it with doing the right thing. We've talked about this before. We are a different team when we're fresh. We played a team that was much fresher than us tonight, and you have to compensate other ways when you don't feel fresh. Younger teams are need to gain experience on how to do that. Perfect example would be just entering the zone. You could look through film, and we carried the puck right to the defender a lot. At times, that favored them. Those moments, you've got to get it deep. You've got to get it behind them. You've got to make them go after a loose puck. So, we didn't simplify in relation to our, not feeling it tonight, not being, and that didn't help us, get in any rhythm whatsoever. We chased the game from that point. So, that's unfortunately that's the experience you gain. And I've said it many times. When we're not fresh, we've got to learn how to play a different way, a B game, and that wasn't there today.
Don, you have to move on now. You have to hit the road. What is your message to this team going to be after such a lopsided performance?
We've been really good responding, so we'll have a message similar to what I just said here. I mean, it's restate the obvious, and the obvious things that all that were mentioned here are pretty obvious. And this team has been, this group of guys have been great at looking in the mirror and moving forward. But I think we looked fatigued. We looked like we hadn't played in a while. And next game we have that under our belt. We should be much less so. So I think that's going to be a bonus right out of the gate. These guys will feel much better. It's as I said, within the context of this, get out of your own head. So we don't want to overcomplicate it. It happened. You can't dwell on it and dwell on negatives. You got to move forward, and I trust our guys to do that.
Do you feel there's a simple answer to why you guys were outshot so much today?
Yeah, it was really in the context of what I just said. We complicated things. They were a bit fresher and had the energy. They had the flow. They were in a rhythm. Obviously, their third game coming back from a break, and ours first in 9 days. So we couldn't compensate otherwise for that. We complicated it and made it much easier for them, and obviously much harder for us. And we looked like we were skating in sand a bit. Heavy legs after the first 15 minutes or so.
Just for a spark or anything else?
No, didn't really consider it because he wasn't any issue. He looked like he was in a rhythm anyway. At the end of it, I'm sure there were some frustrating goals for him that he would like back, but we had to try to fight through that. You come back from a break like that, like I said, and it's the offset of one team has that, and I want to see our guys try to fight through that stuff and learn from the experience of it, because you're going to be challenged with things like that.
Is there a takeaway you can have from the game before the break and the game after the break, or is it just the situation, just what it was?
Well, those are very unique situations that we won't have the next 31 games really. So if there's a takeaway, as I mentioned, you can't. I think you can be overcritical. That you read into it too many things. I mean, those two games before the break and after the break are two totally different scenarios than the rest of the 30-some games left. So, yeah, you take things from games all the time, so I don't want to diminish it, but you have to put it in a context. And the context of that, we don't have that scenario moving forward.